Again, it's a time for my nails, so we are gonna swap this white set into the glittery one, and I love how it sparkles. So first of all, you want to clip off the crystals and they have been on really nice and long time. I also have put some Swarovski crystals Pixie, so I'm just like trying to remove as much as possible, so I've got less to file. Like, be really careful with this process. As you can see it, they are coming off quite nice, I would say. Because I'm able to scrape those Swarovski Pixie as well. When clipping off the crystals, always like make sure you protect your eyes and your client's eyes. And then we are gonna file it. So I want to also really shorten those nails because my natural nail underneath is like extremely long. Oh gosh, see, it will go onto my hand anyway. So I remove quite a lot of bulk because we want to encapsulate the glitter, and the more you file it, the better glitter encapsulation you will get. So you want to blend it, everything with the natural nail, remove this bulk in here, take down from the apex a little bit, and then finish it out as much as possible. And you could see it on the places where I had some remaining Swarovski crystals Pixie. I really nicely e-filet it with this safety bead. It does last you ages, and it's really sturdy, even on the crystals. There was a set when I actually had a full Swarovski crystal Pixie, and I was using the same bead to remove that. If you didn't watch it, guys, go back and do it. It will just show you how easily I could file away the crystals. Okay, so the first debulk is done. And now I want to also finish it out even more. Okay, let's move into the saved mode. So we want to shorten those nails now. I wouldn't file anymore because I don't want to overfile it. So my next step would be to shorten them quite a lot. And what will happen is they will become a little bit thicker again, so I will be able to use the e-file one more time just to thin them out. But first of all, we need to really shorten them a lot. What I find is the longer my natural nails are, the more wobbly I can feel the product, if that makes sense. So when I get a fresh set of the nail extensions, I do not feel them. But once my natural nails are so long, I can feel the movement, and I'm not able to wear this long nails. So quite often, guys, you also ask me or other people ask me how you can have your nails so long. If they are freshly done, you don't feel the length. But once the natural nail grow, you do start feeling the length. So that's the secret of wearing a long nails. Okay, I'm just gonna grab the cuticle pusher and blue scrub. So before I start filing on my natural nail plate, I want to dehydrate my nail plate because I was doing dishes, I have put a face cream on, and there might be some oils on my natural nail plate. Push back the cuticles. Actually, the growth is again pretty decent. And then we are able to start preparing them for a rebalance. So the next step you want to do it is to reshape them. nice V shape. Actually get rid of that. The biggest bulk is done. Move away, Lucky. Thank you. That is so much comfier. I can squeeze my hands now. Okay, so file one side and file other side, like trying to keep it at almost like in triangle shape. So if they would go longer, they would eventually join together. I have probably matched the length perfectly, which is awesome. Do it the same on the other one. I would say the glitter encapsulation sets are pretty fast. The pinky is too long still, but I can feel it really, I cannot support it, so I can feel like how wobbly it is on my natural nail, so I have to really do it nice and slow. Okay, next step is to clean the cuticles because I've got lots this time, like really lots. I'm just gonna grab my cuticle bead and let me clean it, the biggest excess of the cuticle. So first of all, I'm filing one side. Do not put any pressure there. Like you don't want to put any pressure. If it's necessary, you can go a few times, but you don't want to ever put any pressure there. And the angle is really important as well. You don't want to hold it like this, like I am holding it pretty low, I would say. Put it back into the reverse and then file the other side. At the same time, I am pushing them back. And at this stage, I am really only concentrating on the nail plate. So I'm not too bothered about an actual nail fold. I am only concentrating, actually the shape is not too bad. So blend the product with the natural nail and finish it out, like right down to the maximum. Quite often, I would, after I shorten the nails, I would go back to the e-file. I just don't want to grab the fan, so we will hand file. I have swapped the side because now I'm working on the natural nail. So for a natural nail, I'm using a 180 grit. For the product, I'm using 100 grit, and I have read some really amazing questions actually in some previous video when I was doing this set. That's actually the friction from the file and too strong grit can cause the lifting. And yes, this is true. When we file like this, I never trust the final results, and I would re-inspect the nails, because what could happen is that during the debulking of the product, we have actually caused some lifting ourselves. So the nails could be all perfect and intact, but during the filing, it was our filing which caused an actual lifting. Okay, so I will always re-inspect the nails to make sure the things are all intact. Oh, I should never do the pinky in a camera because that's the most difficult nail. I cannot support it, so ideally you want to rest it against something so you don't feel those wobbling during the filing. Okay, so I re-clean everything, check the thickness, and we are almost there, but I can see it, I am pretty uneven here. And normally I am not bothered about it, but because we want to put those glitter in there, I want to remove it. Okay, and then what I can see is a tiny bit of shine in here and the lifting. So this is my problem area. I get always lifting in that corner because of the pterygium, like that's an overgrown cuticle in this area. So this corner always gets a tiny bit more lifting than any other places. Now I'm just removing the shine. I can see I've got some product which is not blended in here. So always really re-inspect the nails. Check them, they are really thin, and you can also see it how bad they are actually, you know, like side view, there we are. Yes, Patrick is pointing into my index finger, is terrible. Like is so bad, like, so you can see it. I managed, like with the product rebalance, I managed to get this look. It's still not perfect, like unfortunately. That's why I had dilemma. Do I want it to actually cut those nails because it will be faster to do a fresh set, or I'm gonna struggle with this rebalance to make them look as nice and pretty as possible. And I did it rebalance. During that time, I was kind of like couple of times like, oh, why did I do it? Okay, let me get rid of this dust and move on into the next step. So I'm not gonna clean my cuticles at this stage anymore. We will do it afterwards. I'm just dehydrating the nail plate really properly. And I am glad because, guys, I find it more and more nail educators, like with lots of experience, are preferring this method as well of doing the cuticles after we apply the product and after we file everything rather than before. You know, I think it is definitely a better way. Of course, the nail plate has to be cuticle free. There cannot be any cuticle on an actual nail plate because that will cause the lifting. And as you can see, this technique works perfect for me. Another thing I want to show you just before we start putting the gel. So the growth is pretty decent on the thumb. You know, when I push back the cuticles, you can see it like the product is starting here. So that's a really decent growth area, but it's not that visible because we've got only top coat in there. It's not catchy and it can last you ages. Okay, so first thing we want to do it is grab those amazing glitter, and I cannot believe like how pretty they look in different light angles. I am just disappointed because I tried to take a picture of this hand and it doesn't look this nice on the camera like it does in a real life. I'm using the milky pink because that's what I had before. Oh, I'm talking too much. Universal Air Bond. So here another question I get to ask a lot is like why you are not using a base gel. Universal Air Bond works as a base gel. Let's remove the product which drop on my hand. You want to be always make sure you are not product exposed. Overexposure can cause lots of trouble. And what I'm doing now after applying Universal Air Bond is like I'm pushing down my nail folds and I'm applying a very thin layer of this gel. Like press as hard into the nail as you can actually do it to make sure you do press the product into the scratches you have created with your file. Okay, so we want to really get that in there. If you've got lots of product, you are unable to press it down so strongly because it will start floating in your cuticles and going everywhere. So press it down nice and strong. Okay, and then straight away pick up like a really tiny scoop to start replacing the apex. Because we have take down the length, we can actually get rid of some thickness. So the longer the nails, the thicker they are gonna be. Okay. Now I've got some brush in here, and now I'm gonna start encapsulating those pretty glitter. So basically what I want to do it is like press down as much glitter as possible. And because we are working with a very thin layers, I do not have to worry about the product running everywhere. I can just start pressing it down. So sparkly. Okay, this stage is done, so are we happy? Yes, we are. I'm gonna grab the sponge, and this is a gel sponge. So the gel sponge, it's slightly different. I like to press down my glitter particles with that sponge, like to flatten them up. So you can see it, they are all sticking out a little bit. Now I just need to flatten it up, and also keep looking at those nails because we need to make it as straight as possible. After this rebalance, as I say, like it's pretty time consuming and sometimes not worth it. We would be faster on a new set. The only reason why I didn't got a new set is I want to go extremely long next time. Okay, let's kick it. So I want to go really, 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 really long. And before the Christmas rush, I thought like, no, I want to actually enjoy those nails. So after the Christmas rush, I will be getting a really long set. Curing time, 60 seconds. And once they finish cooking, I'm just gonna swap the gel. So this time we want to go for clear and even more glitter. Okay, so pick up the small scoop of the product, dip into your glitter flakes. Sorry, Patrick, I'm just gonna get into the right spot. Here we are. And start pressing it down. So what will happen is you will start moving any loose particles of the glitter which didn't encapsulate it by the first time. And also you are introducing more glitter. Like I have hardly any gel in there. Because this one is not about building the nail, it's just about bringing in more glitter. I actually wonder how sparkly they are in the camera. Here, because I need to sort out the shape of this nail, I want to add a little bit more on that overfilled corner. Okay, pick up another scoop and just do the same. There is hardly any gel, so I'm just pressing down the glitter, and I don't want to put too much gel because it will be just too bulky. What an amazing combination. Wow. Show me camera. No, in camera it's not as nice as it is in real life. I'll probably find
less sparkly.
Less sparkly, I know, and it is like pinks and oranges and like all sort of different colors, like absolutely.
This color is visible.
Yeah, but it's less shiny.
Less shiny, yeah.
What a shame. Okay, I will try to play with the camera, and maybe if I find a good lighting which will actually show the real sparkle, I will record like a short video. I sometimes do that, guys, like, you know, we finish the video and then I go and wash my hands and like I find the better light. I have fun with them, absolutely. Do you do that as well, guys? Like, I mean, you get a new set and then you like play with your hands for 3 hours, checking how they reflect the light in different direction. Okay, so I have done another layer of the glitter. I'm gonna just freeze them because there is no need of a full cure. And now I'm gonna build up the structure, okay? So I don't clean my brush. I'm just gonna apply thin layer through the entire nail, and that looks really bulky, but I actually need this bulkiness so I can file them from underneath a little bit to lift them up, especially this nail, like is so terrible looking. Okay, pick up another scoop. I need to fill up this corner, and then later on we are going to lift this nail up from the bottom. As I say, not something I use a lot. The only reason I did it is because I want a nice and pretty set next time. Okay, so I have filled up this corner. I can kind of see my apex is far too high in here, but I'm missing lots of product at the free edge here, so I can file it from underneath. There we are. And again, another nail. This one is not bad, so I'm just going to go nice and thin layer to encapsulate the glitter. Nice and thin layer. This one is quite nice too. I mean, nice, not nice yet, but I can see it. That's the structure isn't too bad. And then thin layer on this one, just the same. Check the side view. I'm missing a little bit on the apex area and here. So add that in. And then we are gonna give them 60 seconds cure. And again, to save the time, when the nails are curing, we are just getting rid of the glitters. That's it, they are done. Glitters, gels, and everything we have used. UV cleanser to remove the inhibition layer. And now we can start shaping them. So with this nail, my main problem is the natural nail, which is dropping down. And what I want to do it is grab the e-file and file it from underneath. Okay. I want to drill away my natural nail, like as much as possible. but at the same time keep a decent shape. Okay, file here. That looks not bad, so I'm just swapping into the hand filing now. And this way I will know if I can file any more from underneath. When filing, I have to make sure I do not touch this corner, but at the same time I want to lift the nail up. Okay, so keep this corner not touched, just file away here. File this bulk away. And it's already start looking better. Look, it's not finished yet, but it starts looking better. It's not that's dropping down. Smooth out. Blend around the cuticle area. Remove the excess of the apex. And I think that's a maximum what I can achieve with this nail. So it looks much better underneath. We could maybe file it a little bit more. As I say, unfortunately, it is not as pretty as getting new set, but this should do. File another nail. This one we should get quite a decent shape because it doesn't grow this much down. And usually if I'm going for, so what I did, I have twisted my hand. That is so wrong, guys. Please do not do that. So you want to keep it nice and straight. I have overfiled this corner a little bit. Just the way I was holding the file. Make sure you don't do that. You don't go around it. Check from underneath. Remove the excess. I also like to check the client view always to make sure they are nice. And then we are gonna smooth out the entire surface of the nail. Now the other two are pretty easy, I would say. This one is always the most difficult to file, so I'm just gonna quickly file them. Maybe even out of the camera, because I have given you quite a lot of information on those two. I'm just gonna file on my own those two and actually quickly rebalance this one as well, just so we are in the same kind of stage with all of them, and then come back to you for the buffing. Okay, they are all filed, so we can start tidy up the nail folds. And now I want to trim the cuticle. So before the buffing, I am absolutely fine to trim them. Because then later on with the buffer, we are actually gonna smooth out. Like you barely can hurt someone with the buffer. I mean, unless you really go completely wrong direction. And I actually love it now because after all the filing, they are kind of more dry than they are, they look terrible, I put it that way. You know, when we get the client where the nails are not filed yet, things looks prettier because there is no that much of the dehydration and that much dust on them. And like mine are all so dusty, so I can really kind of see it and remove better. And then once the hands are clean, the things looks much prettier. I mean, just a wash of the hands is removing those dehydration and all those dust particles. You could also do it after buffing as well, like it will be definitely much easier because you will blend this area even more. So now I'm just gonna grab the buffer and buff, especially, so like I want to blend the product with the around the cuticle area. I really want to blend that well, but also I want to smooth out the entire surface. Let me make my life easier. I want to also blend the entire surface of the nail as well. Okay, so really nice and decent blend with the buffer. And I usually go like couple motion like this, and then again blend around the cuticle area. Like almost brush away any dust particles which might be in there. Brush away any dust particles. And then smooth the entire nail. Again, check how it looks. And move on into the next one. And as you can see it, we did manage to improve the shape. It's much straighter. It was so dropping down before. It's not perfect, far away from perfect. But as I say, like normally I don't use this technique unless we need like a fresh set for some special occasion or something very important coming up, and we really just want to hold on into the nails for one more time. So then I would start e-filing from underneath. Definitely such a waste of the time, and I do not recommend it doing so unless we really need to hold on 1 month longer our nails. Because at the same time, you don't want to give a new set every single time. It's quite damaging because each time you have to remove the product entirely from the natural nail, and doesn't matter if it's soaking off, filing, like, I mean, I prefer filing anyway over soaking off. You still remove like couple layers of the natural nail. Doesn't matter how good is your technique. Okay, so doing so every single time will result in the nails weakening and being not as strong, not holding product this well. Now I'm just going to use the wee e-file ball on my nail fold, just to clean the nail fold a little bit more. Put it back into the reverse and do the other side. Clean it on my fingers as well, and then let me just clean the entire hand. Like the biggest dust, I want to clean it. And then dehydrate just before we put the top coat and we move on into the design. Perfect. So we want to use a drop of the white acrylic paint. Just a small drop of it. and the one stroke level 1 brush. So I'm just cleaning my brush because I have used it for the other side, other hand. And then I'm gonna pick up a small scoop of the acrylic paint. But you want to blend it only on the one side of your brush. And then we are gonna just paint some sort of nail art. Let me add more water in. Just on the one side. You wanted it to be kind of see-through. Not too strong. Nice and wobbly. Then pick up the paint which is even wetter and go different directions. So now I will go that way. So the places where you go twice are gonna be strongly covered. And then once you have done those white parts, we are gonna move on into the top coat. So High Shine No Wipe Top Gel, and just apply over the entire surface of the design you have, the encapsulated glitter. On the one nail I had the place where I overfilled the glitter a little bit. On the ring finger we are just coming in there, so I'm just gonna put a drop more of the top coat to make sure the surface is smooth, and then we are gonna fill it up with the snowflakes anywhere. So I wasn't bothered about it. But if you would do the design where you really need this place to look perfect, what you would do it is you would apply the top coat, buff it, and this way you will fill up your hole, like the one which I got in here, with the top coat. And then after rebuffing you will get a really nice and perfect smooth surface. With this type of design I'm doing, it really doesn't matter, so I'm just leaving it the way it is. So quite often, like depending on the design, I would just save myself some work and leave the things the way they are, rather than trying to fix it if they are not going to be visible anyway. My top coat did run a little bit in here when I was painting, so I'm just going to clean it up and then cure it. And then we are going to use some white gel for our snowflakes. And a D-liner brush and a dotting tool. So I'm just picking up a small scoop of the white gel, dotting tool, and let's play with some snowflakes. They are completely random, because usually my hand is this direction. I'm just gonna place some snowflake in here. And we are gonna use a very simple technique for a snowflakes, like the dotting tool, just because I had, like, my biggest trouble is I'm doing the left and right hand myself, which means I have to incorporate the designs which are pretty simple for me to do it in both of the hands. So here, a couple of the snowflakes, and then one bigger one in the middle. If I would be doing working only with my right hand, I could come up with probably something a little bit more difficult, because I have to have them both matched. I tend to go for something which I'm able to do it both hands. And it wasn't easy, guys. It was a matter of practicing pretty a long time. Okay, exercise my brush a little bit. There was another question which I got, like, how is your line so clean and you don't get that blob? So when you pick up the product, you do get always blob. It is all about picking up the product. So when I pick up for lines, I would drag it to make sure I have no blob. Okay, that's all the secret. Like, so it's all depending on how you pick it up. And now I'm just dragging through those dots. Obviously the other hand was much harder, as I said. Like, so I have to make sure like I do the design which is pretty simple. But maybe when we get them done next time, like for a Christmas, I could wear one hand different and then the other hand different as well. So I could show you something a little bit more advanced, and maybe eventually I would go for some character painting on my nails for Christmas. Now here I've got those ugly dots, which we was talking about it. So strategic placement of the next snowflake. This is gonna be a middle, that's the 2 arms, then 2 arms, 2 arms, 2 arms, and then the single ones in there. This is pretty nice salon friendly design. Actually, I need to watch it how I'm doing the lines, because the glitter is sparkling so much that there are periods where I actually cannot see it. If you have not enough product, you can pick up a small amount of the extra product, like to make your lines more visible. But usually I use the one which is already in the middle dot, like kind of I drag the product from the middle dot. And then on the pinky, we are gonna go very... Again, I'm placing into the strategic place, so I have overfilled this nail a little bit, the glitter. And this is where I'm gonna place my snowflake. Things would be much more difficult if you've got set design, like where the things needs to be exactly in a certain places. Then you would have to file it deeper to make sure you can apply enough product on top of it. I can also see it, I didn't clean properly the top coat in there, so we are just gonna sort that out as well. Couple of the random snowflakes here and there. Let's give me one more, and here. I like how they blink. Okay, now time for sugaring. And another question I get asked a lot is how you clean the sugar so it stays white and or the sugar is not staying on me. I usually find it's lasts pretty well. You have to make sure like you curate it properly so it doesn't come off, because it's applied on the shiny surface. So it's same like kind of doing a chromes, you know, the things can be more difficult to last. So curing time is really important. We have to do it 60 seconds cure, and then I usually clean it with the acetone or a blue scrub if there is any stain on them. Okay, so that's my hand cooked, and we can sort out the thumbnail. So quite often also another thing what I will, not the thumbnail, the index finger. I'm taking a bit and I'm just filing away the top coat which did run. Okay, so never ever, I mean, things happens all the time, like really do happen all the time, and it is okay for them to happen. Like, it is not okay to leave them. So what I'm doing, I make sure my top coat is all gone. from the places that run. So basically same like if filing the nail folds, I'm just filing away the top coat from the nail fold. If you would get like a really bad amount, you would need to unfortunately rebuff the entire tip. Mine was only in the corner, so I can do it. I can do it only with the small bit. Clean the excess of the sugar, like you want to make sure it is all nice and clean. And then I will be able to show you the final look of it. I'm using the sweet cuticle oil. It's an absolutely amazing one. And guys, like when you're taking ever the pictures, so like when I do finish the nails, I would apply the cuticle oil before I would wash the hands. Like I do always prefer like doing that way, so it's pretty rare for you to see me probably applying the cuticle oil. When you're taking the pictures, make sure you wipe away the excess of it. So like when I have finished the hand, I would kind of almost polish the nails to get them nice and shiny again after applying the cuticle oil. And then obviously that's the finished results of the sparkly set. I'm just trying to find the best angle to show you because they look really nice and pretty. Nice and sparkly. I think we should go out of focus a little bit. That's what show the sparkliness of them more. There we are. And I hope you have learned, again, something new, how to, you know, make the nail a little bit straighter when it's dropping down so much, and how to file them from underneath, and how to do a glitter encapsulation. I'm sending you huge glittery hugs and see you in the next one. Bye!